More on Fox 53.
Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
What did you actually observe them to be doing?
I saw them pushing each other. The other parents who were off to the side jumped in and started pulling their children out of
So we got this huge melee at the Easter egg extravaganza. In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. You want him to pay $628?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, knock my socks off. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. The law talks about something may in fact be true, but can they prove it? And that's what's tough.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Larry Cunningham claims an Easter egg hunt he organized was ruined after a fight broke out between the defendants. Mr. Cunningham is suing Robert Mabler and Thomas Carlson in the amount of $715.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Thomas. Mr. Cunningham, you're suing these two individual parents, Mr. Carlson and Mr. Mabler, for disrupting the Easter egg party that you had planned for your community.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Prove your case.
Your Honor, I came up with the idea of this extravaganza for our community.
Yes.
For our Easter egg for the children, basically. And
Was this the first time you guys were doing it?
Yes, sir. It's our inaugural.
All right.
So we hope to carry it on. I realize that Easter egg hunts are normal, but this is something different that we wanted to do. We were able to get some of the local sponsors, shop owners, to provide gifts, some pretty good gifts that would basically make this more exciting.
And then you were also, I take it, advertising it to the community so people were aware of it.
Yes, Your Honor. We had selling tickets for the children age 12 and under at $5 each.
All right, so it's 12 and under. Mr. Carlson, you have a child under the age of 12.
Yes, I do.
Boy or girl?
Boy.
What's his name?
His name's Billy.
Billy. And Mr. Mabler, you also wanted to be involved in this inaugural event. You have a son or a daughter?
Yeah, I have a son. His name is RJ. I have 5 as well.
5. They're both 5.
Yeah.
Did you two know each other before?
Yes, Your Honor. We did know each other.
What was the relationship between the two of you?
Well, both of our sons attend the same kindergarten class.
Okay.
And my son, Billy, he's the most popular, strongest kid in class, and, well,
really?
Bobby Jr.
We doing that at 5? But you sold these tickets to these gentlemen as well as some other parents and families.
Yes, sir. We sold 150 tickets, Your Honor.
The understanding was you said you were working with companies and they were sponsoring gifts and they were putting those inside the eggs. Is that what was going on?
Actually, Your Honor, what they did was we put little pieces of paper with numbers on them in each one of the eggs. We had 300 eggs, and would put the numbers in pieces of paper in there. And when they picked up the eggs, they would go to the end of the table after the event, and they would show the individuals there the numbers, and they would get their prizes.
That sounds very organized and very civilized.
I would like to think so. Thank you, Your Honor.
My only question is you sold 150 tickets, but you only had 300 eggs. So that's not a lot of eggs that the kids are gathering.
Actually, Your Honor, it's 2 eggs for each participant.
That's all?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was the understanding that every child under the age of 12 would be able to only get 2 eggs?
We could not guarantee that each child would get 2 eggs, Your Honor. We had the children out there, and they were looking.
So some kids may not have gotten any, and some may have gotten 15.
That is a possibility.
Well, that was the problem right there.
Your Honor, it was a total and utter free-for-all. There were no chaperones there at any point to make sure that these kids could have a fun time, even if they were only going to get 2 eggs.
Your Honor, it was a childhood event. You don't need chaperones at a childhood event.
You don't need chaperones?
For the
kids run?
Mr. Carlson, I didn't ask you a question. Aside from you, were there any other adults involved in the planning and execution of the event?
There were adults involved in the planning, Your Honor, but the only other adults that were in the roped-off area for the Easter egg hunt
All right,
itself.
so let's talk about the roped-off area. Was that an area only for the children participating?
In the Easter egg hunt itself, sir. The park was open for other children and families.
There were other activities going on in the park, and a portion of the day was dedicated to just the Easter egg hunt for kids 12 and under.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Makes sense. You obviously already had interaction with Mr. Carlson and Billy. You see them there. What happens at that point?
So as soon as I saw Mr. Carlson and Billy, I wanted to keep my distance because I knew that Billy had been bullying RJ. We had a parent-teacher conference.
The teacher called you both in to say what, Mr. Carlson?
That the children had been a disturbance in class, namely, and I will say this, that my son Billy had gotten on RJ's nerves. Now, we have spoken to Billy numerous times since that incident, and it's all under the bridge.
It clearly didn't work because we were at the Easter egg hunt and we're here in court because of it.
Well, wait a minute. When you're at the Easter egg hunt, only the kids are allowed in the area, correct?
The kids and parents for the
and
1
there are
and 2-year-olds,
150
yes.
kids, right? And out of 150 kids, Billy and RJ end up being right next to each other?
Well, Billy's a very competitive person, and RJ probably looks up to Billy.
Well, yes, physically, but not actually.
Okay. Like I said, it's always the parents.
Coming up on America's Court.
You see Mr. Mabler jump in, and then you follow suit.
Like a mad dog, yes, sir, Your Honor.
Okay, why are you being a mad dog?
Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Larry Cunningham, who is suing Robert Mabler and Thomas Colton for negligence.
How did the event actually start?
Your Honor, we had the parents line their children up by the ropes, and we blew an air horn when it was started to go. Once we blew the air horn, the kids went into the roped-off area, starting looking for the
And
Easter
you're
egg.
watching all this unfold?
Yes, sir, I'm watching.
And what did you observe as it relates to these two?
With these two, I saw this individual go.
Which one, Mr. Colson?
Mr. Colson, sir.
Okay, in the shirt.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He jumped over the rope. No, I'm sorry, I apologize, sir.
In the jacket,
yes,
Mr.
yes.
Mabler. Mr.
Yes,
Mabler
sir.
jumped over the rope.
Yes, sir.
All right. And
He jumped over the rope and he went in to pull two children apart. I did not know who the children were. They were, they were close together, I guess.
You know Billy when you see him.
Excuse me.
Sir, why are you interrupting him? Because you're not just disrespecting him, you're disrespecting me in my courtroom.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
That's not going to fly.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. He jumped in and went to pull the kids apart who were apparently going for some eggs.
Okay.
Right? Very shortly after that, Mr. Colson jumped in there and went over and then started fighting with the other individual.
He started fighting. What did you actually observe them to be doing?
I saw them pushing each other.
They were pushing each other.
Yeah, I can't say that I saw everything that transpired. I was looking at the other kids. And then shortly after that, the other parents, right, who were off to the side, jumped in and started pulling their children out of there.
So we got this huge melee at the Easter egg extravaganza.
It was a chaos.
And we all know what is the meaning behind Easter.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if I may.
No, you may not.
This is what we had hoped to attain, Your Honor, right? Celebrating Christmas, celebrating Easter.
Right, that's a few months later. Mr. Mabler, why did you jump over the rope when it was only for the 12 and under?
I absolutely would want it to be about the reason for the season and all that. I'm absolutely with you guys on that.
You said everything but answer my question.
Absolutely, Your Honor, I'm getting there.
Thank you.
So
no, you're not getting there fast enough. So let me go to Mr. Colson. You see Mr. Mabler jump in, and then you follow suit.
Like a mad dog, yes, sir, Your Honor.
Okay, why are you being a mad dog at the Easter extravaganza?
After I saw him confront my son and his son while they were getting into an honest, innocent wrestle.
Over the eggs. They're wrestling over
one egg.
There are all these eggs out there, and they're fighting over one.
They're fighting over one. My son knows how to pick a prize, and when he gets his sight on something, he doesn't let go.
Wow. Okay, Mr. Mabler, why did you feel as though it was incumbent upon you to step over the rope?
Because I saw Billy bullying RJ and throwing him around. And I wasn't going to just stand there, even though it was a roped-off area. I wasn't going to stand there and just let my son be bullied.
All right,
Billy,
and then what do you do? Did you put your hands on... Sir, I'm talking. Did you put your hands on Billy?
Yes, I separated the two.
And after you did that, what do you recall Mr. Colson
As soon
doing?
as I separated
What do you recall Mr. Colson doing after you put your hands on Billy?
Mr. Carlson came screaming at me, yelling all sorts of four-letter words.
All right.
And I was trying to get him to stop, and all of a sudden he starts stepping on me, and I try and get, he's kind of a really weird dude, so I tried to push him off of me, and then he starts throwing punches.
The bottom line is they disrupted the event. Where does the $715 come from?
That was from selling the tickets for the prizes
Well, you had already made the money. What was the problem?
I beg your pardon?
You already had made the money. Why are you asking these two gentlemen?
Because we had to give the money back, Your Honor.
Why did you have to give it back?
Because the parents purchased tickets so that they could participate in the Easter egg hunt to collect the prizes that were
Did
given.
their activities cause the event to stop?
Very much so, Your Honor.
Why? Couldn't you just escort them out and continue on with the
Because
event?
what had happened was when some of the other parents went in there to pull their children out, some of the other parents also started picking up all the Easter eggs, right? Because of they wanted the cash value, I would presume. And we had no idea who had what. So all we could do was...
It was just a mess at that point.
Basically.
And it's Easter that we're talking about here. And you all don't feel as though you should have to compensate the monies because you all started this melee that caused all this drama and madness?
Absolutely not, Your Honor.
The plaintiff did not provide a good system so that way these kids could have a good time. I mean, you said it yourself, there's 300
There are 150 kids. You all already had beef between the two of you. I'm sure there were other kids pushing and jockeying. That's what kids do at Easter egg. I mean, because they're just in it for the fun. You all were the ones who disrupted the event. Why shouldn't you have to pay for it?
Because the event did not need to stop, Your Honor. All he had to do was just deal with us.
And who decided that that was your call? You all are sending this message to Billy and RJ about this is what men do. This is how men handle business. This is how men honor and respect a religious, spiritual time of the year. And that's what you're conveying to them. And you are disrupting something that was meant to be memorable for these young people. Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel is going to come down in favor of the plaintiff. The two of you will split the cost of disrupting the event. And that is the order.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. Both defendants have been ordered to pay $357.50.
I am pleased to see that the judge realized that adults who interrupt a childhood event like this are held accountable.
Yeah, we need to be better role models for our children.
Yeah, we'll make sure Mr. Cunningham gets all of his money.
Coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
The third time, what happened?
He was caught by one of the studio execs. And I just happened to walk in on the scene and seen the studio owner yelling at him.
Closed captioning provided by...
When your skin is feeling dry and crinkly, time for Gold Bond Healing Lotion. Penetrates 10 surface layers